So a lot of us, we go on a diet, we lose a little weight, then we gain it back. We lose a little weight, we gain it back. It seems like this endless diet that most of us are on. You talk about healthy weight for life. What does that mean?
A healthy weight for life means that not only do you release the excess weight, and notice that I use the word release specifically because I don't want to have the thought in my mind that I'm losing something, because more likely I'm going to want to go find it back again. So subsequently, we're looking at it from the perspective of a more complete philosophical turnover, and we're going to provide the services and opportunities necessary to hold you accountable so that you can actually sustain what you want to sustain.
You talk about actually being a health coach, you kind of partnership with your clients. So if I was a client and you're partnering with me, what's that process look like?
So, you know, first and most important is I need to be able to understand where you come from. Why you have gained the weight that you have gained, and what circumstances in your life, you know, are like, so that I can begin to understand, you know, what resonates within the context of that reality. And so for me, that starts with the interview. That starts with, tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell me what it is that makes you tick. Tell me what it is why you want to lose the weight. What does it represent to you? And then I really like to get into the idea of, imagine that you got into the healthy weight. What does that feel like? I want you to feel and experience that element that you want as if you already have it. And then, believe it or not, the journey is very easy and it's very simple because you actually achieve what you want.
Exactly. I mean, that's how I've created my entire life, my career, is the vision.
Yes.
You know, it's like the vision board. I take a vision board and every 6 months I'm like, okay, what does my life look like now? What do I want that to feel like? What do I want to look like? And I have done that with my health, which is why I'm on a quest right now to share this information with men and women out there, because it is not necessarily easy to eat healthy when you have all of these different things out there to lure you in, and these, you know, these sugary items, or you go out to eat for dinner and there's very few healthy choices, and you feel like everything's stacked up against you.
What I have found in most of those situations is that unless we begin to get to the root of the problem, we're not going to be able to make that shift. And the root of that problem is that the mindset is not there. So most of the time, the majority of my patients is not able to actually visualize and believe that they actually can achieve what they want. So how do we create that experience? Believe it or not, it's a lot simpler than not. The simple way to do it is by being able to, what I have created for my patients is a mantra. And a mantra basically has 5 different or 6 different lines. And I always start with the word I am, because I like my patients to empower themselves with the spirituality that is to be. And so I use words like I am. So let's say, for example, a patient is coming in at 175 pounds. Their healthy weight is to be 130 pounds. So one of the first mantras would be, I am 130. Then I want you to begin to create a picture of it. So the next line would be, what is 130? A size 4, a size 6? So 130, I'm a size 4. The next one is, I am healthy, because nothing is worth anything if you don't have the health. And then I usually throw in a couple of colorful experiences like I am sexy, you know, I am successful, you know, and keep it to about 5 or 6. And then I want the patients to wake up in the mornings to repeat that 7 times, but recognize that the power of the mantra is not in being able to read it and say it and repeat it, but it's in being able to savor it as you say it, which to me means you need to be able to visualize an image. And then once you have that, we have an actual pathway that is very personalized that can actually effectively empower you to achieve that you want. But we cannot achieve what we want indefinitely unless we're willing to appreciate and love ourselves in the process. So it becomes a lot about that spiritual journey. And then the didactics of it are very simple. First and foremost, we need to understand the biochemistry. So a comprehensive laboratory test is done in which we can begin to understand the dynamics of what's actually working or not working. One of the primary factors that we look at is the thyroid. And the thyroid is a definite key player within the context of all the aspects of obesity and the disease process that is associated with that. And so it is very important for us to be able to evaluate that and see if you need to have an adjustment in that functionality to be able to proceed successfully.
Absolutely. And so what are some of the dietary recommendations that you have for people to either maintain or lose weight, not lose, okay, release the weight.
Release the weight, release the weight. No.
See, it's so good. I mean, this is actually retraining me as well. If it's the words we use, right, that create our reality and our experience.
Exactly.
So when we want to release the weight and then maintain that weight, what are some of the dietary suggestions that you have?
So that is something that is, believe it or not, fairly simple in terms of the ability to describe it. Sometimes it's a little more daunting in terms of the ability to actually do it, because in the world that we live in, there's so much dysfunction in terms of what's available for us. But bottom line is, anything that comes in a bag that is carbohydrate, so you're talking about breads, you're talking about chips, you're talking about cookies, you're talking about rice, anything that is literally manufactured in a factory, it's a carbohydrate, is literally made for all purposes of sugar. And so one of the main culprits to the obesity epidemic that we're currently, our whole world is under right now, is due to the fact that we have too much sugar in the diet, okay? So the average person nowadays has about 150 pounds of sugar per year and about another 150 pounds of flour. So between the flour and the sugar, the average American is eating 300 pounds of sugar and flour per year. That's statistics that has been clearly defined, okay? We don't need that. And more importantly, keep in mind that every cancer, brain cancer, breast cancer, colon cancer, feeds on one primary element. It's called sugar. Yep. So what we need to do to be able to shift to be healthier and to release the excess weight is to begin to transition into a low sugar type of a nutritional plan.
A lot of people are cutting carbs completely out of their diet, and that's because carbs turn into sugar, sugar turns into fat. But there are good carbs to have as well, right? Carbs are important.
Very important.
Okay.
Are very important. So the key is learning to choose the right carbs and learning to understand how they convert themselves into sugar. And some of them convert themselves in a very rich way to sugar, and other ones convert themselves in a limited state to sugar. So really there's a whole science behind it that actually can empower our bodies to eat nutritiously, tasty, and with ultimately little sugar impact in terms of what the body senses.
I cook really healthy. I've been doing a lot of research on just what you're talking about. Perimeter shopping, you know, eating fruits and vegetables and proteins and complex carbohydrates. So I cook every day, and you know, my family is starting to come over and having dinner, and they don't even realize that they're eating healthy when I'm cooking every day on a healthier recipes, but they're really good.
Yeah, they're great.
And next thing you know, my mom's coming over going, honey, you know, I want to learn how you're cooking because obviously you've lost some weight, you're feeling better. And so I think a lot of times we feel like dieting or losing weight equates to eating really bland foods that are really boring, and then our whole family is going to think we're awful and not want to join in and participate, and so we don't even do it. So, I mean, basically, what you're talking about is just very simple changes to our diet.
I had one gentleman to illustrate that. He needs to lose 100 pounds. I saw him yesterday. He had lost 30 pounds, you know, and he was very happy. And he says, you know, I discovered that I have this rice now made out of cauliflower.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It's like cauliflower rice. So he can have his, you know, arroz con pollo, which is a very popular Puerto Rican dish. Now he can actually use, you know, cauliflower rice to actually, you know, have all these beautiful tastes. But there's no sugar. There's very, very little sugar.
Right.
I mean, a whole cupful of cauliflower is only 0.4 teaspoons of sugar. That's less than half a teaspoon of sugar. So, you know, you can really begin to, again, transition into a healthier lifestyle, not depriving yourself, eating as much as you need to eat to sustain yourself, but it requires that you make a shift in the way that we compute things in the brain.
I love it. Healthy weight for life.
Healthy weight for life.
Thank you, Dr. Lara.
Thank you. Thank you.